me your picks, give me your insights. I want the bets from Betting Weekly. Because we win, that is our motto. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't win. Don't give us the bad, don't give us your stink eye. Try our best, and we're successful. Come watch our show, bet with the sponsors. It's time to start, enjoy the show.
Welcome in everyone to Betting Weekly Live Reaction with myself, Steve Wyss, and Nigel Seeley. You can see the score on screen there from the North London derby. Tottenham 1, Arsenal 4. What a great win for the Gunners after slipping up in midweek. Nigel, I've got to be honest, I expected a bit more from Tottenham Hotspur today. I don't know about you.
No. I think we've over. I think good afternoon, everybody. I think we actually sort of underestimated Arsenal. I genuinely believe that we looked at those last two matches for them, and we've all fallen in this bottle of tag, and we've seen what Man City done. I think we've underestimated Arsenal in that match. Tottenham are in deep trouble, and they're about 13 players. They're about a whole of a back four, a whole of their defenders, and I think that when the market was a little bit disrespectful for Arsenal. I fancy goals. I fancy both teams to score. A very rare big win for us on the Premier League show. But I think Tottenham are in serious trouble. And that's the takeout from this. We've got a title race. We've got two teams in the title race. It's going to go down to the wire, that's for sure. But Tottenham Hotspur are in trouble unless they get some of those players back.
Yeah, I mean, I was out with the boys today at Cricket Net, and a lot were thinking Spurs might win the game, let alone a draw. But maybe they are in more trouble than we think.
But that's because the perception. Because the perception is everyone believes that Arsenal. This is how betting changes. How public perception on betting changes. 5 weeks ago, we sat here. I watched a show with yourself and Will White. Will White said that the gap between Arsenal and the next best is bigger than anything else in European football. He said that Arsenal were the best team in European football. They have two matches, which they're going to drop points now and again. Performances weren't that great. And suddenly, the general perception is that they're going to bottle this. 4 weeks ago, they were world beaters. We spoke about them doing a four-timer. And now they're playing Tottenham, who have been absolutely awful, have one of the worst home records in the Premier League, without all their defenders, without their main striker, without their best playmaker, and suddenly they're going to be competitive against the best team in England and the best team in Europe right now. I just think we get carried away sometimes on momentum and public perception. The best two teams in European football now are Arsenal and Manchester City. They're going to go toe-to-toe to the title, and Tottenham Hotspur are a side that are in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, the match itself, everything, the eye test in terms of the stats, the actual metrics of the game as well, men against the boys, really. Arsenal got themselves ahead, deservedly so. One bit of sloppiness cost them the equaliser, but they've got on the foot on that gas pedal again in the second half. And 4-1, I don't think flatters them, ultimately, at the end of the day at all. Very impressive from Arsenal. After that midweek, dropping points a bit of a freaking away. I don't think that would happen very often against Wolves. Man City with the win yesterday. I'm going to put the Premier League table actually up on screen. There we are. Arsenal 61 points, Manchester City 56. Man City do have that game in hand. Aston Villa 51, Chelsea at 45. Is it now 2-horse race or still 3-horse race, Nigel, for the title?
It's been a 2-horse race for the last 3 weeks. Arsenal now will be about -$2 when the odds come out with Bet Rivers. Man City will probably be about +175. I think that's a true reflection. Obviously, Arsenal have got to go to Manchester City. Man City win all their matches, are going to win the title. But it's going to come down to now winning the matches that you have to win. Your home match is going to become important. Title races, people drop. You win your title at home. Arsenal have a massive next match against Chelsea, which should be arguably their toughest home match of the season. They then play Man City on the 22nd of March in the League Cup. And I think that is the biggest match in the season psychologically. If Arsenal win a trophy in that match and they beat Man City, then they will think, we've got a trophy, we're winners of something, and we can go on to something special. If they lose that match in the EFL Cup, I think that gives Man City some kind of hope throughout the season. And on the 18th of April, Man City host Arsenal. But I just think that's a big, big win. It's a win that I expected. It's a performance that I expected. And it's a win now that puts, I mean, I think the big implication of the reaction today is not that we got a title race. It's not that we got a title race. It's the fact now Tottenham Hotspur are involved in a relegation battle. Now, I have the odds here, the latest odds now to be relegated. Wolves are relegated, no offers. Burnley are minus 3,330. West Ham are minus 125. Nottingham Forest are plus 250. Tottenham right now are plus $4 to be relegated. They are the 5th most likely team to get relegated. That is the breaking news here tonight. It's not the fact that we have a title race. We've always had a title race. It's not the fact that Arsenal have done anything different and that Arsenal, or that, with Man City have won. We know these two are going to go toe-to-toe for the season. But now we have Tottenham are legitimate relegation contenders. They play Fulham away in the next match. They have Crystal Palace at home. They have to go to Liverpool. And then they play Nottingham Forest in 4 matches that could see them be in the relegation zone. That was a performance defensively shambolic. That was a performance that a new manager come in and changed it around. They didn't like Thomas Frank. I didn't see any upgrade really on Thomas Frank. And this is a team that have an extensive injury crisis. They got to go with what they've got. And the news tonight on this match is not that Arsenal are overwhelming favourites to win the Premier League title. It's not the fact that there's something there I saw that they're going to win the title or they're going to beat Man City. It's the fact now that Tottenham are 4-1 to be relegated from the Premier League. Now, this is a team that finished top 8 in the Champions League. We saw last season when they went into European football, they almost got relegation. This is the lowest price Tottenham have been in a relegation market that I can remember. And on current form, Forest are better than them. West Ham are better than them. Leeds are much better than them. And Tottenham are in serious, serious trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that was my main takeaway today. Like, if you see, the last match that Arsenal had away at Brentford, Brentford, I thought, outplayed them, or certainly gave them a really, really good game. Wolves obviously had that comeback, yet Spurs could really hardly lay a glove on them. And maybe that's the level Spurs are at with this current set of players who, Real Brandon King says there, I thought I was a Spurs supporter, but I didn't recognise the majority of the bench. There is a real injury crisis at the Tottenham Hotspur right now. I'll be honest, there's so many out injured, Nigel. I don't know who can come back soon, who's out for the whole season. Apart from Maddison, we know that. It's a real issue for them. We've got 2 London derbies coming up. Obviously, they're still in the Champions League. We don't know.
Well, that's not going to be good for them. That's not going to be good for them. I mean, that's going to be a hindrance. We saw happen last season. And I mean, they've got. I've got the list of Tottenham injuries here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 first team players out. James Maddison not back for the whole season. Kulusevski not back until the start of May. Ben Dick out of May. Kudos, they can't get back quick enough. He's expected to be back in the middle of April. Ben Davis, ankle surgery, middle of April. Bergville, middle of April. Christian Romero suspended, but he's back for the next match. They need him back quickly. Danzo will be back middle of March. I mean, they're big players, and they're going to be without them for a long, long time.
Out until April, Nigel. Like,
Sorry?
It's not like they're back next. That's quite a lot of players on that list who are coming back mid-April or later. That is a concern for Spurs. If they went down, would this be perhaps the biggest relegation story there's ever been in the Premier League?
Yeah. How can you have a team that the top 8 in the Champions League that could be playing in the Championship next year? You could have, I know it sounds crazy, but you could have Tottenham win the Champions League, which they are 33-1 to do so. They're 4-1 to be relegated, and they could be the champions of Europe playing at home against Cardiff City in the Championship and in midweek going to Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, that's how wild this is. This is the wild situation. And on that performance, they have got big problems. They can't defend. The goalkeeper's lost a lot of confidence, strike-wise, and they look at team, they lost the dressing room with Thomas Frank, and Tudor's come in to try to steady the ship. I would expect to see Oliver Glasner there at the start of next season. I don't think Tudor will be there. I think Glasner will probably go there. He might even come sooner if Crystal Palace there's talk about him getting Robbie Keane before the end of the season. He might go there. And I think if he goes in, it'll be great for them. But the title race is the title race. Teams are going to drop points. Teams are going to win. They're the best two teams in the division. I still think it's massively advantage Arsenal, despite Man City having to go to the Etihad. I think Arsenal are underrated for today because, public perception, typical. Your mates at cricket all said they're going to get beat because they watched the two matches. If you spoke to them 3 weeks before, they'd say Arsenal are going to win the quadruple. That is how betting people think. They change their opinion as quickly as they change their underwear. That's what happens in the world of gambling. And they are the best team. They showed today they're leagues above Tottenham. And tonight, Tottenham fans will go away from that game and think the reality of us playing the Championship next season is a 25% chance, a 20% chance. And that is unthinkable.
Yeah, I mean, for the first time, I'm starting to think maybe they could really go down, or at least be in this relegation battle for quite a long time. They will either be facing Galatasaray or Juventus or Club Brugge or Atletico Madrid in the next round of the Champions League, by the way, for those who are interested in that one. But losing a North London derby 4-1, I mean, I didn't see any change under Igor Tudor at all. I thought Tudor might give them an instant sort of boost in some certain ways. He's a strong motivational fella, I'll tell you that much. But when he hasn't got that many tools available to him, then perhaps it's going to be a challenge. But losing that derby 4-1, I suppose the next match against Fulham, another London derby, it's either you get back on that horse very, very quickly, or they could have a real hangover from a defeat. Losing at home against your biggest rivals like that, in that fashion, offered nothing.
Well, they've conceded at least 2 goals in their last 7 Premier League matches. And that's against Arsenal, Newcastle, Manchester City, Manchester United, Burnley, West Ham, Aston Villa, and Bournemouth. So that's 8, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You conceded 2 goals in all those matches. For you to win a football match, you've got to score 3. And they played Burnley and West Ham and conceded 2 goals against them teams who are in relegation zone at the moment. That is their problem. Defensive, they're shambolic. They are all over the place defensively. They've always got a goal in them. That's good, but they're going to concede 2, 3, 4. I just tonight, I think Tottenham fans are worried. The Fulham match of the weekend, at this moment in time, you can bet Fulham at plus 130. Tottenham at plus 185. I mean, Fulham have just gone to Sunderland, one of the toughest places in the Premier League, and absolutely blitzed them. They're a side that fans think they could get to. They're a side that they think could get into the Europa places. Plus 130 Fulham now for next Sunday on that performance is a great bet. Fulham's a great bet. They can't win at home. Fulham went to Tottenham, 1-2-1 earlier in the season. That's a great bet. Now, it's ingrained. They can't win a game at home. Other teams are grinding out results at home. Tottenham can't win a game at home. They've got one of the worst home records in the Premier League. They haven't won a home game in the Premier League since Brentford on the 6th of December. That's relegation form.
Their home form is really, really poor compared to the other teams. It doesn't feel like
they haven't won a game in the Premier League this year, Steve. Tottenham. They've won 2 matches this year, both in the Champions League against Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt. They have not won a Premier League game in 2026. And on the current form, that is the worst form than anybody in the Premier League. And if this was a team like Burnley or a team with the name of Leeds or the team with the name of Nottingham Forest or a team with the name of Wolves, they would be plus 110 to be relegated. The fact that it's Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League, that's why they're $4. You might get 450 or so now as the market's settling down, but they're in trouble.
Let's talk about Arsenal a little bit again. By the way, well done to you and Jack on the Premier League show today. You absolutely crushed that game. Nailed it spot on. Arsenal minus 152 to beat Chelsea next week. Over 2.5 goals is minus 124 in that game. What sort of match are you expecting, do you think, next week at the Emirates Stadium, Nigel? Early thoughts on it? Because, that might... Chelsea They played against each other recently, of course. 2 wins for Arsenal, although that second leg was one of the worst I've ever seen. But are you expecting an open game, a closed game?
Well, I think that Liam Rosenior has got to get a performance out of his side after that match yesterday. And I think Liam Rosenior come out and criticised players and didn't actually name a player, but effectively did say that a player didn't do his assignment. That's like a school teacher. You didn't do your geography assignment. I don't think he's endearing himself to the Chelsea fans. I don't think he's endearing himself to the Chelsea players. I think that Arsenal will win this. I think they absolutely breezed past Chelsea in the Carabao Cup's semi-final first leg at Stamford Bridge. In the second leg, they didn't have to do nothing because Chelsea showed no desire at all. But Chelsea have been better on the road under Rosenior. You know, they went to Charlton, won 5-1 in the FA Cup, went to Crystal Palace, won 3-1, 3-2 against Napoli, 3-1 against Wolves, 4-0 against Hull, scoring goals. The only time they didn't score a goal on the road was against Arsenal. But I think we are going to have a season here where I think these top two are going to go on winning runs. And I think everything's going to be built up to that showdown at the Etihad. And that is where we think it's going to be a title decider. I don't think it's going to be a title decider. I think they might drop points at the end of it. And obviously both of them in the Champions League, which their progression in there, injuries they may entail along the way could be a problem. So I would expect Arsenal to win that match. I don't think Chelsea are a formidable kind of opposition as they've been over the years, but they will be up for it because Chelsea fans don't want any other team other than Arsenal to win the Premier League title. But I think it's as we are in the Premier League title. I mean, there's not really much to say that hasn't been said. You know, I think, you know, if Arsenal got beat today, we'd be sitting here going, is the title over? Is it going to the Etihad? I think the story of the day now is that Tottenham. I think the back page story and you know, when we do the post-match interviews, when the dust settles down, it won't be the fact that Arsenal are back in the title race because they've always been in the title race. It's the fact that Tottenham are in deep relegation problems.
Will they go down, Nigel? I mean, if we can pretty much say probably Burnley are in really, really, really big trouble. So we're looking at one of the team. You're looking at either Forest, West Ham, Leeds, or Spurs at this point. Which of those 4 teams will go down, do you think?
Well, that is, I mean, I think it's between, I think Leeds are okay. I mean, Leeds are great at home. They're picking up points on the road. They're scoring goals. So I think Leeds will be okay. Anything above Leeds is fine. I think it's between 1-3 teams, West Ham, Forest, and Tottenham. You know, Burnley and Wolves. So it's between those 3 sides. And at this moment in time, if you took all the data, you know, if you like your XG, what's the worst out of all 3 of those sides? I wouldn't trust Tottenham at home. I wouldn't trust Tottenham on the road. And the Champions League is a big problem for them. So I think it's about the board now thinking like, what are we going to do? What have we got to do? And last season we saw them come very, very close. I think this season is worse. They're worse off than where they were last season. We saw Ange Postecoglou lose his job for the position they're in now. I thought Forest were extremely unlucky today against Liverpool. Extremely unlucky today. They should have got a point there. The goal they conceded was clearly offside, and I think that was a shocking decision by the VAR decision to allow that goal. But West Ham are just putting on points, and I can see within 2 to 3 weeks' time, Tottenham being in the relegation battle. And I think if you're taking 4 or 5 in the relegation zone, if you're taking 4 or 5 to 1 now, I think you will have a very, very decent tradable price. I think they could go as short as like plus 250. At the end of the day, they may get 3 or 4 players back right at the end of the season to get them out of trouble. But at this moment in time, they are probably the 3rd worst team in the Premier League on data. And I think West Ham and Forest are better than them.
They're playing far worse than any other team in that relegation mixer at the minute, including Burnley, by the way. Burnley are grafting a couple of points. Anyway, let us know in the comments, who do you think will get relegated? Will Tottenham Hotspur go down this season? And then at the top of the table, you know, is everyone back on the Arsenal train? It's going to be close, I think, with them and Manchester City. Tomorrow night, remember, we've got Everton against Manchester United. Check out the Premier League show. Official pick from you in that one, Nigel, I do believe.
Yep.
So, yeah,
A game a match that doesn't bring back memories. I mean, we went quite strong on that match in the reverse fixture, and Man United, Everton were down to 10 men early doors and won it 1-0 in a match that doesn't really have fond memories for me. But it was a good day today. The Lings all cashed as well. Good winner on that. But I mean, we have got an exciting Premier League title race. There's a cigarette paper between Manchester City and Arsenal. I think they're the best two teams in European football, and I do believe, as I said at the top of the show, I think that Carabao Cup final, whoever wins that will have so much confidence going into that massive match 2 weeks later in the Premier League. I think it's a really big match, and I think both teams will go very, very strong in it and try to win it. And the four-timer's on for both of them. And they are the best two teams in England. They're the best two teams in European football. But this Spurs side, it's a very, very bad state of affairs for Tottenham supporters.
Well, thanks everyone who joined live or on demand. Leslie Mack there with some comments at the top of the show about the Spanish game. There's several fixtures on later. Strasbourg are in action against Lyon. James Easton's got an official pick in that one for the late clash in Liga. So if you didn't know about it, do check out the Extra Time show. Nigel, I'm sure I'll see you Tuesday for the Champions League show.
Yep.
Tomorrow,
I've got to jump on now and do some betting weekly tennis stuff as well. We've done betting weekly game bet match. We've got a finalist that's a 13-1 in the final, Sebastian Corda, tonight over in Delaware Beach. Hopefully he can cash. And we had a winner again on the WTA show with Jessica Pegula, our fourth winner of the year. Both shows are dropping now.
Pegula,
yeah,
saw that. Saw your video yesterday about her.
Yeah,
well done.
Man.
Well done.
All right, pal.
Take care, everyone. See you
Tottenham
next
in trouble. It's not lucky for Spurs when the year ends in 2026. They can go down.
Oh my God.
It can't go on like this, can it? It can. It can. It can. It can.
See you.